What's up, everybody? We back with another video. Today, showing y'all what I do for a living, man. Alright, man, sorry about the silent intro because I'm at work. I can't really yell the way I do when I'm at home inside of my shed. The roasting machine's kind of loud right here. So right here you can see I got the roasting machine. This is really my personal office inside the place that I work. So I work at a small nonprofit organization, and the funding goes towards helping youth inside of our community. The pay isn't really that great, and of course, people have tried to steal me away from this organization several times, but I refuse to leave simply because of the mission. I could be making maybe 5 figures a year, but the mission of this organization is what mostly keeps me staying here and working, and it's also the reason why I started a YouTube channel in the first place, so I can make some extra income while I continue to help the youth inside of my community, man. So today I'm creating a new profile. We're gonna walk over here to the notebook. So this is where I keep all my coffee roasting profiles. You can see on this page right here, all we have is the charge temp, the airflow, the starting gas, so on and so forth, man. So on the other side right here, you can see I have a completed profile. It's really a simple process if you actually know what you're doing. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. So right here at the top, you can see we're starting off with a 1200 charge size. Let's go over here to our beans. Keep them inside these little containers, man, for safe storage. We gotta make sure insects don't get inside these things. So I got my scale right here. Just gotta grab my bowl. All right. So gotta make sure we hit tare. We wanna make sure we get 1200 grams of coffee inside this thing. So for those of y'all that didn't know, coffee starts out green. It comes from a plant, so the plant is red. It's similar to a cherry, and they get the beans out of those plants, and that's how we roast our coffee. So depending on what region the coffee was grown in, it's gonna have different flavors. All right, we wanna make sure we stop in at 1200, man. Take it slowly, slowly. Just gotta have some patience with this. There we go, 1202. Now you wanna make sure you get the exact numbers. For anyone else out there that's actually roasting coffee, you don't have as much experience as I do because I've been doing this for about 6 years. So we get the beans, put them in the machine, just like that, man. So this funnel right here is gonna drop the beans into the drum. The drum is gonna be what's roasting the beans alongside the heat. So it's off right now because, as you can see on the side over here, the top number is the current temperature, and the bottom number is gonna be the temperature that it stops at. So you can see the flames inside of there. Those are gonna be warming up the drum, and the drum is gonna be cooking the beans when we put them in there. So let's go ahead and get this started. I have my phone going towards the laptop. All right, so after we hit start, just drop this. The beans are gonna fall down into the drum. Just slide that back on there. All right. So this is the part of the roasting process that matters the most, because this is what's going to determine your flavor. I'm not sure if I'm going to fast forward this or not. Probably just go through the whole process. Y'all can see what I actually do every single day. All right, man, so the phase that we're in right now is called the drying phase. So what's happening during this phase is pulling the water out of the beans. Now I'm pushing them into the mallard phase. The mallard phase is when the colors change on the beans. So I might actually give y'all a glimpse of that, but the light on the machine is messed up right now. Gotta get some new bulbs for it. Oh yeah, man, go ahead and drop inside the comments how y'all day going. What have y'all been doing today? What do y'all do for a living, man? Personally, I like roasting coffee because it's technically alchemy, right? And when I was a kid, I used to be fascinated with things like alchemy, and now I'm changing a piece of the earth using wind and fire. Beautiful, man. I'm gonna let this keep on roasting. It is a very long process. You can see the timer on the side over here. So as we're going through this roast, we're gonna have to make sure that we take notes. But for the first 4 minutes, we're probably just gonna be sitting here and waiting and waiting. As you can see, we're almost at the 2-minute mark. This is the boring part of a roast. And personally, for me anyway, the fun part is creating new profiles. because if you're constantly roasting a profile that you've already created, it gets kind of boring because you're so familiar with it. There's no excitement in making it anymore. So when it comes down to creating new profiles, for me personally, it is the most fun part of being a coffee roaster. Still waiting, man. We're just now getting to 2 minutes. So you can see that the line, there was no line here at first, but it's coming up now from the bottom. And this line right here is telling us our environment temp, I believe. No, the blue line is telling us our environmental temp. The black line right here, that's our curve. And this line right here, this is gonna be our rate over rise. So we wanna make sure we keep this as consistent as we can. Try to keep it in a straight line, slanting downwards. All right, so you can see this little blue area right here, from here to here. So that right there is our prediction curve. The machine, well, not the machine, but the roasting application itself is telling us what it predicts is gonna happen at these points of the roast. I don't usually trust it because I've been doing this for 6 years, man. And the person that made this program probably been roasting for longer than I have, but I know exactly what I'm doing. I've learned from quite literally the best coffee roasters on this planet. So I'm not too much worried about predictions. I'm actually considering turning that off, but we'll see when we get there, man. All right, so we're at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The drying phase is almost over. So we're gonna go over here, take a look inside. So you can see the beans are still slightly yellow. When the beans get closer to an orange color, that's when you know it's color change and we reach the Maillard phase. Now the Maillard phase is gonna determine the smoothness of your coffee. You wanna make sure you're stretching that out as much as you can because people love smooth coffee. Every time people drink my coffee, they're like, man, this is so smooth. I love smooth coffee. I don't even have to add anything to make it smoother. It's perfect just the way it is. I'm gonna post a link inside the comments to the website so y'all can buy some coffee if y'all are some coffee drinkers. And trust me, man, buying coffee that I have roasted is not a bad idea because I've been doing this for a very long time. All right, man, we're at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. So let's go over here and take a look inside the drum once again. So you can see the beans aren't quite done yet. Still waiting for the color change to happen. We're gonna wait it out just a little bit more. And as you can see, man, our ROR is still looking good. We don't have to make any adjustments just yet. All right, let's get back up. Take a look inside the drum. All right, beans are mostly orange. Don't see many yellow. Let you know it's color change. And the drying phase is officially over, man, finally. So we're gonna hit color change right here. So that way inside future roasts, we know exactly when it happens so we don't have to keep getting back up and checking. We're gonna have to mark that down on the notepad as well. Go ahead and write that down. So 4:53, we got color change. CC. All right, so you can see it's going up now. We're gonna go ahead and decrease the KPA by 0.1. So the KPA meter is right here. You decrease that by 0.1. And if it goes inside the direction that we want it to at that point of the roast, yep, it's doing just fine, so we don't have to make any adjustments to the airflow. So the meter that I just turned, this one right here, that's gonna determine how much heat we're getting out of the flames right here. And this little dial right here is the airflow. Now, the higher the airflow is, the more heat is gonna pull out of the machine. So you can see we're still doing pretty good here. Now, when it comes down to the first roast, when you're creating a new profile, you're gonna have to take the good with the bad because it's gonna go up and you can't predict that, right? Because it's your first time doing this combination of the starting temp and the starting airflow, as well as the starting charge size. So you're gonna have some inconsistencies in the first roast, but the first roast is to figure out where those inconsistencies are so you can avoid them when you do that roast inside the future. So we're still doing good. We don't have to make any adjustments right now. I feel like starting off with 70 airflow was really good because it's helping us maintain a longer Maillard phase, right? It's not just flying straight through it. So you can see it's going up again. We're gonna decrease that by another 0.1. And if it starts to go down, then we'll know inside the next roast that all we have to do is decrease it by 0.1 at this point of the roast. So you just got to be patient with it, man. Give it some time. If it doesn't start going down as soon as you turn the dial, that doesn't mean it's not going to go down. The beans are adjusting to the new temperature, so you got to give it some time. It's going to maintain that heat for a little bit, and then once the beans have some time to actually adjust to the new temperature, it's going to start going down. Sorry, man, I got real bad nerves. I cannot hold this camera still. So down here at the bottom, you can see we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds inside of our mallet phase. We're shooting for 3 minutes for maximum smoothness and for some extra flavor as well. All right, it looks like it's trying to go up, but I think it's going back down. Yeah, man, it's trying to flatline. We're gonna decrease that by another 0.1 kPa. We're down to about 0.3 right now. We can't afford to lose any more heat. So if we do anything else, we're just gonna start pulling heat out of the drum through the use of our airflow. But starting off with 70 was actually good. We haven't had to make any airflow adjustments inside of this roast. And according to Scott Rao, a very famous coffee roaster that I learned from, he said it's probably better if you don't change your airflow too much during the roast. You want to make sure you maintain a 90% blue flame. And as you can see, man, that is definitely at the very least 90%. So we're doing very good right now. And at the end, right before first crack, it tried to flatline, but it's going back down now. I might end up increasing the airflow at that point of the roast, the next time around at least. All right, so I'm gonna put the phone close to the machine. Do you hear that popping sound from the beans in there? That lets you know that first crack is coming. Now, first crack, after that, you're gonna be inside the development phase. And that development phase is gonna be a very key factor of your coffee, man, because if you don't go far enough in, then you're gonna have underdeveloped flavor. It's still gonna taste like it's not completely roasted. And if you go too far in, you're gonna have more of a dark flavor. So make sure y'all keep that in mind, man. If you ever decide to actually choose this profession. All right, so you can see down here at the bottom, we managed to get almost a 4-minute mallet. That's amazing, man. So we want to make sure we're more consistent inside first crack more than anything else, because the consistency of your first crack is also going to determine the flavor of your coffee. You don't want it to taste like it's too dark. You also don't want it to taste like it's too light. Some people like a healthy balance between the two. Some people like it to be further inside either direction, but I like to aim for the middle. So that if we don't have an option for either or, then there's something that's close to either one of them. So yeah, man, we're still doing good. Not having to make any adjustments right now. All right, the line is starting to go under the numbers. We're just gonna zoom in. Looks like it's gonna start going up right here. We're gonna go ahead. No, we're not gonna make any adjustments. It painted me, man. All right, now it's trying to go back up. All right, we're gonna decrease the kPa to 0.1 and increase the airflow to 100. All right, so down here, you can see the development time. We're shooting for about, I'm gonna say 22%. So you can see it's starting to drop right there. We're gonna go ahead and increase the kPa by 0.1, back up to 0.2, and we're gonna leave the airflow at 100 because we wanna make sure we keep heat going to the beans, but we don't want too much heat to be in there. So we're using the airflow to pull some of that heat out. All right, looks like it's still trying to go up, but we're nearing the end of the roast. We're gonna go ahead and go below 0.1 kPa to the smallest flame that we can get, man. You can see there's barely any flame in there. So we're trying to make sure we keep the heat at a good temperature to a point where it's not making the beans way too hot, but we're trying not to cool it down too much to a point where it drops. Looks like we're not gonna be able to achieve that, man. So we're at 21.2% development time. This drop at the end is definitely gonna affect my roast. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom out, man. And we're at 22.1. We're gonna go ahead and drop them into this machine right here. So this is the cooling tray. It's gonna cool the beans down. All right. Last part of the process right here, man. Very satisfying to watch. Very satisfying to touch the beans. Don't recommend it though when they first come out because it's at like 400 degrees. Now you can see some lighter colored beans inside of here. Experienced roasters call these homers, like Homer Simpson, because he's yellow. So those are beans that are underdeveloped. Supposed to pull those out, but a lot of the time I don't. And it definitely affects the flavor, so I should start doing that, but probably not gonna start today. All right, man, we're gonna wrap this video up. If y'all wanna see more videos of what I do every day, drop it inside the comments. I'll be actually excited to make more videos like this. I'm doing this anyway, so recording it won't really make much of a difference. That's it. I'll catch y'all on the next one.